The ruins of New Karachi stretched endlessly under the crimson sky of Kepler 442b, a testament to 3 years of brutal warfare between humanity and the Zephyrian Empire. Commander Adnan Hassan picked his way through the rubble, his plasma rifle held low but ready. The latest ceasefire had lasted exactly 14 hours, longer than most. He shouldn't have been here. Command had ordered all units to maintain defensive positions, while the diplomats attempted another round of peace talks. But Adnan had received intelligence that changed everything. A Zephyrian patrol had been spotted in Sector 7, the same sector where his daughter Nahal had disappeared during the initial bombardment. For 3 years he had carried the weight of her death, 3 years of believing that his brilliant, stubborn 15-year-old daughter had been vaporized along with half the city in that first devastating attack. 3 years of channeling his grief into becoming humanity's most feared tactical commander, the man who had single-handedly turned the tide at the Battle of Titan's Gate. The Zephyrians called him the Ghost of New Karachi. His own troops simply called him Sir with a mixture of reverence and fear. A movement ahead caught his attention. Adnan crouched behind a collapsed wall, peering through his scope. What he saw made his blood freeze. A lone Zephyrian soldier sat in what had once been a schoolyard, its back against a twisted metal beam. The 7-foot-tall reptilian humanoid was unmistakable. Scaled skin that shimmered blue-green in the alien sunlight, 4 arms, and the distinctive crest that marked it as a warrior caste. But it wasn't the soldier that stopped Adnan's heart. It was the human girl sitting beside it. Even at this distance, even after 3 years of war and grief, he knew that silhouette. The way she tilted her head when concentrating, the defiant set of her shoulders, the mass of dark curls that had never submitted to any brush or styling attempt. Nahal, his daughter, was alive. Adnan's finger moved to his rifle's trigger, every instinct screaming to eliminate the threat that had taken his child. But something made him pause. Through his scope, he watched as Nahal, older now, 18 by his count, handed something to the Zephyrian, a small device that pulsed with soft light. The alien took it with surprising gentleness, its clawed hands careful not to damage whatever delicate mechanism lay within. It made a series of clicking sounds, the Zephyrian equivalent of gratitude, and Nahal responded with her own series of clicks, perfectly pronounced. She spoke their language fluently. Adnan lowered his rifle, confusion replacing rage. He activated his suit's stealth field and crept closer, close enough to hear their conversation. The quantum stabilizer should hold for another week, Nahal was saying in Zephyrian, her accent flawless. But you need to keep the core temperature below 50 degrees Celsius, or the matrix will collapse. You have saved my clutch siblings again. Little builder, the Zephyrian replied, its voice carrying a warmth that Adnan had never heard from their species. The healing device you created has saved 17 of our young ones. 18, Nahal corrected with a small smile. Kethvar's little one pulled through this morning. Adnan's world tilted. His daughter, his human daughter, was building medical devices for the enemy. She was saving Zephyrian children. The war continues above, the soldier said, gesturing toward the sky where distant explosions lit the clouds. Your people and mine still kill each other with great efficiency. Nahal's expression darkened.
It's madness, Zixtal.
Both sides have lost so much. My father, her voice broke slightly. My father probably thinks I'm dead. And maybe it's better that way. He'd never understand this. You speak of the ghost of New Karachi, Zixtal said, and Adnan stiffened. The one who haunts our battle reports. Commander Adnan Hassan, Nahal said quietly. Yes, he's my father. The Zephyrian's crest flared in surprise. The ghost's offspring? But you are so small, so gentle. He wasn't always a ghost, Nahal said, her eyes distant. Before the war, he used to build things too. Bridges, hospitals, schools. He taught me that engineering was about creating solutions, about making life better for everyone. She gestured at the device in Zixtal's hands. This is who I choose to be, even if the war wants to make me something else. Adnan felt tears he hadn't shed since the day she disappeared. His brilliant daughter had survived by doing what he had taught her, by building instead of destroying. Even surrounded by war, even presumed dead by her own people, she had chosen to heal rather than harm. Little builder, Zixtal said softly. There are rumors among my people. Peace talks, perhaps an end to this madness. I've heard the same from the human refugees, Nahal replied. But I've learned not to hope too much. Adults seem very good at finding reasons to keep fighting. That was when Adnan made his decision. He deactivated his stealth field and stepped into the open, his weapon lowered. Both Nihal and Zixtal spun toward him, but while the Zephyrian reached for its plasma caster, Nihal simply stared in shock. "Baba," she whispered, using the Urdu word for father that she hadn't spoken since childhood. "Hello, my brilliant girl," Adnan said, his voice thick with emotion. "I've been looking for you for a very long time." Zixtal's weapon was now trained on him, but the alien looked to Nahal for guidance. She stood slowly, tears streaming down her face. "You're supposed to be in defensive positions," she said. And despite everything, Adnan almost smiled. Even now, she sounded like the tactical analyst he had trained her to be. "Orders from your father," he replied. "I'm officially going AWOL to have a conversation with my daughter about ending this war." He looked at Zixtal, then back at Nahal. "It seems you've been doing what I should have been doing all along, building bridges instead of burning them." Nahal took a hesitant step forward. "Baba, You've been healing their children," Adnan said, and his voice carried no judgment, only wonder. "In the middle of a war that's killed millions, you've been saving lives. Both sides' lives. It's what you taught me," she said simply, "before the war changed you into the ghost." Adnan holstered his weapon and opened his arms. Then maybe it's time for the ghost to remember how to be a father again. As Nahal ran into his embrace, 3 years of grief and loss pouring out of both of them, Zixtal slowly lowered its weapon. In that moment, in the ruins of a dead city under an alien sky, a Zephyrian warrior, a human commander, and a girl who had refused to let war define her, began to imagine what peace might look like. The real battle, Adnan realized, had always been choosing what kind of person to become. When the world demanded you become a monster, his daughter had won that battle long ago. Now it was his turn to learn from her.